Dear, can you just move in so we leave the kind of ends spare? So that my Sangha joins in. ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ। ਸੋ ਵਿਸ਼ਟਾ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਜੀ ਪਵਿੱਤਰ ਬਾਣੀ ਨਾਲ ਅਸੀਂ ਜੁੜਨਾ ਪਹਿਲਾਂ। ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਜਾ ਤੂੰ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਤਾਂ ਪਉ ਕਿਹਾ, ਹਉ ਤੁਧ ਬਿਨ ਕਿਸ ਸਾਲਾਹੀ। ਏਕ ਤੂੰ ਤਾਂ ਸਭ ਕਿਛ ਹੈ, ਮੈਂ ਤੁਝ ਬਿਨ ਦੂਜਾ ਨਾਹੀ। ਬਾਬਾ ਬਿਖ ਦੇਖਿਆ ਸੰਸਾਰ, ਰੱਖਿਆ ਕਰੋ ਗੁਸਾਈ ਮੇਰੇ। ਮੈਂ ਨਾਮ ਤੇਰਾ ਆਧਾਰ, ਜਾਣੇ ਬਿਰਥਾ ਸਭਾ ਮਨ ਕੀ। ਹੋਰ ਕਿਸ ਪੈ ਆਖ ਸੁਣਾਈਐ, ਬਿਨ ਨਾਮੈ ਸਭ ਜਗ ਬਉਰਾਇਆ। ਨਾ ਮਿਲੈ ਸੁਖ ਪਾਈਐ, ਕਿਆ ਕਹੀਐ ਕਿਸ ਆਖ ਸੁਣਾਈਐ। ਜੇ ਕਹਿਣਾ ਸੋ ਪ੍ਰਭ ਜੀ ਪਾਸ, ਸਭ ਕਿਛ ਕੀਤਾ ਤੇਰਾ ਵਰਤੈ। ਸਦਾ ਸਦਾ ਤੇਰੀ ਆਸ, ਜੇ ਦੇ ਵਡਿਆਈ ਤਾਂ ਤੇਰੀ ਵਡਿਆਈ। ਹਿਤ ਉਤ ਤੁਝੈ ਧਿਆਉ, ਨਾਨਕੇ ਪ੍ਰਭ ਸਦਾ ਸੁਖ ਦਾਤੇ। ਮੈਂ ਤਾਣ ਤੇਰਾ ਇਕ ਨਾਉ, ਨਾਨਕ ਕੇ ਪ੍ਰਭ ਸਦਾ ਸੁਖ ਦਾਤੇ। ਮੈਂ ਤਾਣ ਤੇਰਾ ਇਕ ਨਾਉ। ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ, ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ। Sorry, today we got a bit of a technical issue, so I'm going to have to be sliding the screen a little bit. I feel like a Channel 4 presenter. So this week we're going to carry on. I'm going to just do a recap of week 2 last week. So we covered our worldview there. A worldview. Although we didn't go in, I can't go into it because I ain't got time, but the worldview was more around your neuro-linguistic programming and how you can change your worldview and stuff. But it was just good to understand what that is. What has shaped our worldview, and we had this baggage when we come here with Dukh, Sukh and potential diamonds. Pag, we covered Pag in Gurbani, a important term to understand Pag kiya. Vadbhagi, Pagheen and things like that. Levels of karma and how our previous baggage affects them. So these Singh, Tamo Gun, Rajo Gun, Sato Gun, these are Tre Gun Maya. We call Tre Gun Maya, 3 levels of Maya. How we develop further baggage here. So see, WhyGuru nu visar ke, we've forgotten Sadguru, then it gets worse, our situation gets worse. As Dukh, we're building up Dukh. So there's a 4th state called Turiya Avastha or Sahaj Avastha, Chotha Pad Maharaj calls it. That's where Sikh operates. Just a question on that really. You know, we ask about Lama, normally Lama. Everyone, who's married? Married. Yeah, don't worry, there's hope for you. But you know, when we get married, it's a 4 Lama hundiyan, we have 4 Lama. There's 3 states of karma, and then we say Tamoguna, Rajoguna, Satoguna, and then we say 4th state of meeting WhyGuru. So where do you think 4th state starts in our Lama? We've got Har Pelladi Lam, Parvirti Karma Dridaya Balaram Jiyo, Bani Brahma Ved Dharam Drido Pap Tajaya Balaram. So Guru talks, we do one when you got married, Chetaya, hopefully, your first Lam. Then you do 2nd Lam. So which Lam do you think Guru talks about getting to the 4th state? 1st, 2nd, 3rd, 4th? Hanji? First. First? Any other takers? 4th? No, Panji, Tika. First, Vicha. So Guruji says, Sahaj Anand Hova Vadbhagi, man har har meetha laya. Sahaj Anand we talked about last week. Guruji's taken us out of Maya Pehli Lam de vich. Not the 4th Lam. Pehli Lam de vich Maharaj said, Maya choo nikal gaya tu hun, Satguru mil gaya tenu. Fourth lam is Malab, so that's certainly about Sajavasta as well. But it's just interesting to know that point. How things are either done in Home Hukum, why our identity was very complex. Identity gets quite messed up. Jata Pata, our jobs, our age, our nationality, and there's a whole massive list of different things, and we start identifying with those things. Not going to be of much use later on. How our worldview affects our words when we speak, and what Guruji says about this world. Guruji, what did Guruji call the Tarti? Kena di Tarti ya hai? Whose dunya is it? Hello, is anyone paying attention? Is that whose Tarti ke diya hai? When we look at the world, we look at the Hanji? Sadhan diya hai. Sadhan di dharti hai, this is sad sangat lai dharti bani ho hai. So often, when we say dharti, we say than, it also means sarir as well. So you could say sadhan di dharti hai, this sad bhakti ke lai. But really, the world, Guruji says, our worldview changes when we start understanding Guru's mat. When we start following all this nonsense that we're watching television and all these other things, then our worldview gets corrupted. So, this is kind of what we discussed last week. When we brought our baggage with us, Maharaj Pag, kende Pag, us Pag de vich we got jair bhi paya, that's going to bring pain, misery, bad environments, people, etc. Jere changa bring happiness, wealth and comfort, very khushi. And then we've got diamonds potentially. Everybody doesn't have them. ਜਿਹੜੇ ਵਡਭਾਗੀ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਆ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਉਹ ਚੀਜ਼ ਮਿਲੀ ਹੁੰਦੀ ਆ that they can come into Guru Nanak's house. Now there's more to it. We didn't, because it was get overly complicated last week, but there's more to it than that. So ਜਿਹੜੇ ਸਾਡੇ ਭਾਗ ਆ, they also ਜਿਹੜੇ ਦੇਸ਼ ਜਾਤ ਪਾਤ where you're going to be born. Arja, I didn't understand Arja. Arja is how much lifetime you got. So how long are you going to live for? Or we said pag. So someone can come and thought pag which oh any time ni bota hega. They go quickly. They haven't got much time. Then you got your sanjog and your vijog. Guru says this sanjog kena nu milna tusi. Who are you going to end up interacting with? That could be pretty bad, and that could be pretty good. It depends. Vijog, when they are someone who you meet, then you're going to have to leave them. So we got all these relationships, sometimes they break, and you get separated. Then guna and avguna. So these are our virtues and our vices, so good and bad points in our personality. So it's a pag, which so pag is a big thing, and what you're building up is building up more pag now. We come on dunya, we have to come again. We have to come again, but Guru can take us away from that. But if you have to come again, then upag hor bani jande, different ones. I want you to look at these. These are the decisions we made with these pag. We made these decisions about our attachments, what do we think is important to us, our marriage. So when people got married, how did you get married? Can I ask, do you mind if I ask you to see marriage? How did you get married? When you said, got to get married now, sanu partner chaida hai. What was the thought process? Soni honi chaidi ya, gori honi chaidi, all that stuff. What was it? How did you pick it out? What did you do? Kusi bolde nahi tusi? Friends and associates. Friend kidda bande ya? View of the temporary world and our hopes and desires. Now I want you to think about this properly. Which bit of your baggage did you use from these over there? So when you make your friend, what do you look for in your friend? Do you say, as long as they come out at 11 o'clock at night on Friday, that's a good mate? When you say your view of the temporary world, what are you using? Because you can be evil, right? I could just say that the world is like dog eat dog. The more people you stamp over, the more successful you get. That's my view of the world. I'm using this. Ajar mein use kar raha hai. You know, when you're doing your marriage, let's pick on that one. Could be that you're just saying, I just want a happy life. What does that mean? I just want a happy life. I just want a person who's going to be with me. We're going to have a happy life. What does that mean? So we're picking that thing on what basis? So we've made all these decisions. What do you think happens when these decisions are bad? What happens? Ki hunda saadi life vich ki hunda fe? What happens? Okay, dukh. But then who do we blame for the dukh? Who do we blame? Mummy, daddy. Who do we blame? Gwandi? Blame Indians? Brown people? Government? Who are you blaming, huh?
We blame God. We say, why did you do this to us?
Mere te, I had this guy, the guy spoke to me once and he was like saying that, he goes, I don't do bad stuff, right? And he goes, I know these guys are dodgy guys who are standing around with, you know? They're doing pakka putte teeth kam. He goes, all their stuff's happening all right. My comes all kharab. He goes, how does that work? He goes, my stuff's all damaged. I ain't got no good life. But these guys, choriyan bhi karde adultery bhi karde sharaba bhi peende drug khande, they do all those things. But they can't get in happiness. But you didn't understand, no? You wouldn't understand. Because philosophy, karma philosophy, you're gonna get better at it. Hopefully you've watched the other two if you didn't come, but you've watched the other two, but you'll get better at it, you'll understand. Jaise Guru di mat leni hai, Gur ki mat tu le aane Bhagat bina bahut dube siane. Guru says, Guru di mat le la. Without that mat, bahut siane, very wise people dub gaya. Finished in this dunya. Na? So think about that for a minute. When you're still doing it, how do you make your associations? And you know what a Guru is saying? Guru sanu keh rahe pe Nanak kachdeyan syon tod. Toond sajjan sant pakkeyan. Pe jehde kache hunde ਉਹਨਾਂ ਤੋਂ ਟੁੱਟ ਜਾ ਤੂੰ. ਉਹਨੇ ਇੱਥੇ ਤੈਨੂੰ ਛੱਡ ਦੇਣਾ ਦੁਨੀਆ ਵਿੱਚ. They're going to let you go here. ਪਰ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਪੱਕੇ ਸੰਤ ਆ ਉਹ ਮੋਇਆ ਨਾ ਵਿਛੋੜ. ਜੋ ਮਰਨਾ ਵੀ ਆ ਨਾ ਉਹ ਨਾਲ ਹੀ ਹੋਣੇ ਤੇਰੇ. They're not going to let you go, ਹੈ ਨਾ. So we let them all go. Guru saying ਇੱਥੇ ਛੱਡ ਦੇ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ. But the bad connections that we've made, you know. So sorry, I don't have loads of time, but look, let's try and understand this. We read Slok Mela Nama. When we come to Gurdwara, Khand Path da Bhog ho ਰਿਹਾ ਹੈ ਨਾ, Maharaj Bani ਬਹੁਤ ਬੈਰਾਗਮਈ ਬਾਣੀ ਆ ਉਹ. It's ਤਿਆਗ ਵਾਲੀ ਬਾਣੀ. It's like as in letting go of the dunya. Now Guru's saying this, look, jatan bahut sukh ke kiye, dukh ko kiyo na koe, kaho nanak sun re mana, har bhave so hai. People, everyone makes all sorts of effort to say, I want happiness, happiness. But Guru says no one's preparing for the dukh. No one does any effort to say, I'm going to prepare for the dukh as well, that's going to come. Everyone's saying the happy bit, I'll prepare for that. But Guruji says, har bhave so hai. Whatever WhyGuru sochde hai, oh hona hai really. Whatever WhyGuru wants, that's what really happens. Now, when we say we want to be enlightened, no? We want to be enlightened. That word is overused, you know, it's spiritual. I want to be spiritual. Spiritual mein kuch bhi nahi samjhda. If someone turns to me and says, I'm quite a spiritual person, I just say, blah, blah, blah. You know? Blah, blah. If spirituality nahi hegi, but you understand from Guru, what's a spiritual person? That's what we're going to try and understand that with these four weeks. We're going to fully try to understand spiritual person ki hunda hai. Not how I want to be spiritual. Or, you know, in a very light terms. You know what spiritual means is a person who's using the internals, not the externals. You know? That's called spiritual in today's society. Mindfulness and all that. Guru di mat which is nothing, all that stuff. But look, human beings are constantly chasing happiness and trying to avoid pain. It's at a kamma. And that's our weakness. You know, the biggest weakness human being that's trying to get happy. That's the weakness. But we see it as a strength, you know? Even though a person tries in many ways to secure happiness and never seeks suffering, pain still arises according to hukum. the final outcome unfolds according to divine will, Maharaj da hukum, not human effort alone. So sometimes we're just saying, I'll put effort, man, happiness mil jana, main effort karunga. Ek gurmat nahi hai. Guru's mat. That's our mat. That's ours. But we're gonna hopefully get a bit better understanding. Yeah. This is a bit of a technical section. 5-6 minute lagane, but this is for people who Gurbani vich khoj je karte a. These are the terms that get used, So, oops, sorry. So the terms that get used, when we talk about baggage, ono sanchit karma kande a sanchit, they're the back ones, Jere sade naal aaye ho in this life, ono nu parlabad kande a. Sorry. Sorry, I didn't train up in Channel 4, unfortunately. So I prefer my little button press. But these are, terms hai sorry. Hurry up, mate. Right. When we talked last week, loads of baggage. Onu sanchit karam kande. This is Hindu terminology, the Vedanta ke kalo. Pralabad are the ones that we're doing in this life, and then Kirya. Sorry, Pralabad come with us, they're the ones that come, the Pag, Jere Kandea, the Kirya, Jere Apane, Jere Si Hun Kar Rahe. But Guruji doesn't look at it like that. Guruji is, we did these 5 levels. Sorry, the resolution ain't great on this monitor, but it's broken a bit. But, we did this last week. But I'm going to start introducing some terms. Kirt karam. So now when you read Bani, where Guruji says, Kirt karam ke vichhade, kar kirpa milo ram. A term hai bhai pichle karm mein kiti hoa, ona kar ke main vichhad gaya, I am messed up. So now Rab ain't in my life. So, and they're also called Purbale karam. Purbale, And these were the 5 levels we talked about last week. Home and accepting hukma, home cha sara. These are, they're called tre guni, tre bid karma. Bandhan Vyapat karma. Sometimes it's called that in Bani. These are called Adhyatam karma. So I didn't want to do this last week because you get caught up in terminology and you understand what the main points are. But if you look at it properly, this was just to double check that thing I'd done was right. But Home Vyapat karma, Hukum Razai karma. So when we read Japji Sahib, the Guru says, Hukum Razai chalana, Nanak likhya naal. Guruji says, Hukum di raja, te raja vich reh tu. Stay in what WhyGuru wants for you. Don't try to be too special. That's Hukum Rajai vich rehna. Then that takes a person out of Maya. And when we do Kirtan and we do Path and we do Simran, unu har Kirat kar Maharaj kande a. Har Kirat sadh sangat hai. Sir karman ke karma. Guru says, sab to badda karma ova sangat vich beh ke we sing. We sing. And look at people's life. Some people in their life which are likhya nahi hai. They've got nothing. It might be your parents, it might be your brother, it might be your sister, it might be some on the life which likhya nahi hai. They ain't got nothing written like that. Jithe only Hari da Kirat kahna hai. That's what's going to save us. And jide karma kandi, if I go to Ganga or pray to the east, west, south, whatever, Guru onu karma kand kende a, oh Maya vich aa jandi hai because what do they want? What do they want? Hanji? When they're doing their karma for spirituality, what do they want?
Money.
They want recognition and also worldly things. What else? Mara to bar ki mangde a? Heaven mangde a, na? When we start asking for heaven, Guru says, "Oh Maya tari ho janda hai." So these are the terminology that like I said, it's very brief. That's a lecture on its own. It doesn't matter. So what is the reality of our pain? Why? So no pain kyo milya? Why have we got that? The problem is, you know what Guru says? Dada dosh na deyu kis hai? Dosh karma apneya. Jo main kiya so main paya, dosh na dije avarjana. Look at Guruji saying. He said, don't place blame on anyone. The fault is yours, Sardiya, sa fault. Jo main kita si, oh main pa raha hai. So I've done something, now I've got to eat it. When we do Japji Sahib, Ape bij, ape khao, nanak hukmi. What does that mean? Because we're planting something. Whatever you plant, all that outcome khana pehna hai. You ain't gonna get away with that, hai. Whatever you plant, ਉਹ ਖਾਣਾ ਪੈਣਾ ਹੈ the result of it. Guru Ji says ਫਿਰ ਹੁਣ ਹੁਕਮ ਵਿੱਚ ਇਹ ਹੋ ਗਿਆ ਤੇਰੇ ਮੱਥੇ ਤੇ ਫਿਰ ਹੁਣ ਨਾਨਕ ਹੁਕਮੀ ਆਵੋ ਜਾਓ. You have to keep coming back to finish it off. So what Guru is saying is don't blame him on first. This is part of destroying home. You know, sometimes we simplify it. In Sikhi we say to remove a home, what we have to do is stop saying me and I. That's a really, really low level gala. Guru's whole Bani is destroying home in very, very different ways. It's destroying it. So one is Guru saying, Pella, stop blaming someone. Don't say, if what you don't, you say this, own it. Guru saying, own it. Jo main kita, now I have to take it, now I have to eat it now. Main kha raha hai. And that makes you do a specific thing that we're going to cover later on. All these little things that kill your home. Gurbani really home maar diya. You know that, right? What's it? Gurbani isn't just poetry. Home maar diya. It's killing your home. So what have we really sown? It's बहुत beautiful श्लोक आंदा है ना कबीर जी दे श्लोकां च पे कबीर ऐसा बीज बोए 12 मास फलंत शीतल छाया गहर फल पंखी केल करंत. Now what Kabir ji used, he used the example of a bird. A bird comes and sits on a tree. When does a bird get the fal of the tree, the fal, the fruits of it? When does it get it normally?
Instant.
Yeah, what time of the year? Like spring, summer, na? But if autumn which char jandi, drakh char janda sara kuch, and then the fal comes off as well. There's not many fruits. But what Kabir ji is saying is, using the example of a bird, look, Kabir ji is urging us to plant the seed of Naam within ourselves, unlike worldly attachments and pursuits that give temporary results. Temporary cheez milti hai. Tell me something that you've done that's giving you a permanent cheez. Tell me what it is. You've got any karma that you've done that's permanent, it's giving you something that's going to stick with you, it's permanent. And he's saying that these temporary results, this seed continues to give nourishment at all times. It's like a tree for the birds that bring shade, which is our inner calm from Maya, if we look at it from a metaphorically, and fruit for them to eat, which is our spiritual fulfillment. Then he's saying, a Sikh will find joy and contentment through it. So the question is, have you sown anything that's giving you fruit all year round? Kuch bhi nahi boya hale. There's nothing there. So what we're supposed to be doing is, we're supposed to be planting these things, right? That when you planted it, Guru gives you that for all your life, and probably after. Before I did Amrit, my case as a cut, my earrings and all, tattoos, I won't show you them. But you know what it was? If someone told me when I was 19 that you're going to do Nitnem every day, for the rest of your life, right, I'll tell them they're smoking something really dodgy. That's what I told them. I said, something not right with you, mate. But sorry, but there's something Guru gives you, He gives a person. What Guruji says is, Jo prani kahuna vat kam, Sant prasatan ko japiye naam. Sant is Guru Guru di gall hai. Guru saying is, jira person kise kam da nahi hega. It's of no use to anyone. Because Guruji ona te kirpa karke ona to naam japan la pantaya. He gives them something. He gives them something that sticks with them. We've done nothing, we've done our worldly thing because we followed all these worldly people, our governments and our leaders and our mentors and our YouTube influencers and all that bakwas. Kuch nahi milya. You planted nothing, got nothing from that. Sada kam you're going to plant something that's going to stay there and just to keep giving you fal. What Guru is saying is, every day it gives you happiness. Every day it gives you contentment. Every day it makes you compassionate. That's naam. Naam kaida hai. That's naam. So this is the reality. you know, the human reality, Dukh, Sukh and Sikhi. You know, I talked to you about addiction before, Hannah. Usually addicts who come through the door and you're trying to help them, most of them don't want to stop. That's unfortunate reality. They don't want to stop. And their Dukh is similar to our worldly Dukh. I see addicted to our Dukh. So look, most humans don't actually want truth, Hannah. What we want a life that feels comfortable to what I think is comfortable, to our thinking. Truth often destabilizes that. You know what? When I was working through Sikhi, home is addicted to being the center of the story. Guruji is talking about us dissolving into WhyGuru, accepting hukum, not wanting heaven, not wanting anything. That's not human psychology. Human psychology works like this, you know? It's rewards. We want a prize. So, you know, when someone says, you're going to get heaven, you know? All of a sudden, Garner goes, whoa, yeah, what's all that about? I'm going to get heaven, you know? And like some sort of prize. So heaven is basically cosmic prize for good, for doing good. Sorry, that's all it's about, or even restrained behavior. Musliman veeran to gal suni si. Remember, people rip Musliman, na Guruji didn't rinse Musliman, you know, na jehda changa Musliman hoye mada nahi hega. You know, he said, oh mehman hai the dunya te, they understand the guests. And he said, the born the dil marya hunta hai. They're very soft. You don't see them like that now. So Guru Nanak's time, what Maharaj said. But you know, some Musliman, if I don't mess about here, then I get all the stuff I didn't do here in heaven in a slightly different way, you know. It's very stupid. So I don't drink here, rivers sharaban de milde hai. If I don't commit adultery here, manu 72 buriyan mil janiyan uthe. Oh, ek nahi sambhal hundi, 72 ki karniyan tusi. One's enough, na? Why you want 72? So everything they're restricting, they want triple. They want triple over there. Guruji said, nahi milna tenu kuch bhi. Look, you know Maharaj Shabad? Aggi pala kappad hove khana hove wow. Guru says, mera aggi te pala, ag te pala da mera kappada hove. Ma khana wind, hava. Surge diya moniya istri hovan. So he's saying, Abhi ridiya siddhiya da malak, someone who's like, you know, spiritual power banda. He goes, Surge diya moniya istriya hovan. He goes, I get all these virgins. They're a virgin, they're shala marde. Surge diya istriya moniya hovan. Nanak sabbe jao. He goes, all of that, kill it all. Pi tu hai salahana. Aakhne lehna chaho. He goes, main tere gun ka hi jane hai, na? You know, delayed justice, like a human being, you know. You can't handle it, you know. If you say to somebody, you know, when you do a fal, you know, we do something, no? I don't mean it's going to happen here. You can do something might come about next week. Something might come about next year from what you've done. Something might say, Guru says, then janam lena pena to do that. You're going to be born again. You know, when I was, I was getting into Sikhi, you know. What I did was I had a car. I used to get cars from company cars, you know. And I had to drive these guys' cars, Mercedes, Masudi, Audi, that kind of stuff. There's a car there. It's really old, you know. I scratched it. I scratched the car. It's like this much scratch. The car was mashed, you know. That car was, it's like paint job was mashed. It was an old car. But it probably made it look better. I said, it probably made it look better. So I just carried on with my life, you know. You know when I got my car? When I got demilgate, you know. So I was in some store, you know. And I go back out, and my gaddi where I'd hit the guy's car, right? The gaddi had a massive dent in it, like that much. Someone's tow bar went straight through the same place. You know that come from that day, you know what you're doing, and you ain't getting away with it. I wasn't getting away with it, no? So the gaddi, when it took me ages to get that car. The car was rubbish, by the way. It was them better. I didn't have much better, but it got dented. But it dented in the place main apna karma kamaya se on somebody else, no? And you know, sometimes even when something bad happens to us, we want that justice now. We want it now, no? Human beings don't operate correctly. That's not how it works. WhyGuru da kaam nahi hai. There are karma philosophy, yeah? It requires patience, humility, faith. How much faith does it need to say, you know, Tika, something's happened, that person nothing might happen here, but something's going to happen, you know? To someone else, someone about. So sometimes it's invisible. Most people want instant moral balance. They want justice now. That don't fit with our Gurmat. You don't fit with Guruji. That's our thinking. That's human, sort of human philosophy, you know. But you know, victim narratives are easier than responsibility. Sometimes happens. So if you blame somebody, if you say, "Mere mummy, daddy da fault ya, mere enemies da fault ya," it's fate. Have you ever heard somebody when you say to them, "To see, na, you spent your life now, to thoda Sikhi bano aja, thoda," they go, "Jodon Maharaj kirpa karange, udon avange." Jodon WhyGuru kirpa karuga, hai na? Technically that's theek, hai na? But that's used out of chanchalta, hai na? That's used out of a very snidey way. So sometimes we just say, "Oh, it's my fate," you know. It ain't gonna happen. Conspiracies, these protect the ego from accepting reality sometimes. Sometimes there's people who don't want to let go of their dukh because they don't want to look on the other side. That sometimes a transformation, and it's a hard thing to accept. If I say to you, you have to live like a Sikh, sometimes a person might look at that and say, "Nah, it's better off over here. I'm better off here." Ahi theek hai jidha main kar raha haan. And most people cannot tolerate uncertainty. I'm going to show you something from ChatGPT at the end of this lecture, no? Because I asked ChatGPT, I said, "Paji, tu bhi kuch das de mainu, hai na? AI monster, hai na?" And the AI thing come out with some next level cheese, you know, about human beings. But anyway, so they invent clear endings and guarantees, hai na? And promises, and it makes them feel in control. So we just make an ending. We say, if you do something good over here, you're going to go to heaven. Oh, that's nice. I might as well do something good then. Do you know what I mean? You want an ending. We want to make it clear. Well, Guru gives us quite a blurry one sometimes. Is it that dasna nahi hai pe tu tarna nahi tarna ki hona tera because tu ape, you know I think was it last week before we did Kabir ji Shabd, na? Kabir ji says Kabir Surg baas na baanchiye, dariye na nark nivas. Because don't ask for heaven and don't be scared of any hell. Hona hai so hoi hai, mane na kiche asik. Whatever's going to happen is going to happen. Tu apne man vich na rakh. And that's too hard to do, na? Where you say, someone's saying, you're not going to tell me what the outcome is, but you're telling me to just say, chill out, don't worry about it. It'll be fine, you know? Human beings that operate like that, no? So we want to make an ending, we want to clear, and we want to guarantee. I want a promise. Does Gurbani promise you anything? Does Gurbani promise you anything?
It promises one thing, which is death.
Yeah, death. You're going to die. We're all going to die, guys. Does it promise you any? Does it promise you a gift? What do you think? You know Kabir says, "Koi gaave, ko sune, har nama chit laye, kya hai Kabir sansa nahi, ant param gat paye." It is definite 100% guaranteed, na? But you will get a WhyGuru, na? Jira ganda, sunda, te chit la ke hirde ch vasaunda WhyGuru nu. He said there's a guarantee, you know, but ain't a guarantee of this like this beach where the sun don't set and there's all these like dodgy stuff going on. You know? It sounds more like Epstein Island than heaven, you know. But you know, maturity of Sikhi and true recognition of the soul is rare. Now, the problem is that's cut the thing off, so I can't even read my slide. Wait a second. So this is what it requires you accepting that you're not special. Can we say that? Can you say to WhyGuru, I'm not special? Because that's not how we live. We live and say, I'm special, man. I'm better than my neighbour. I've got a better job than my cousin. I'm better than the person I'm working with. I'm more sona than ABC. That's the kind of bakwas we come out with, isn't it? And look, life is not guaranteed to be fair. Just because what's fair to you doesn't mean that's what's going to happen, isn't it? And then the hukum in the universe does not revolve around you. The hukum in the universe don't revolve around me, don't revolve around you. Can you accept that? That's how you're going to become mature. This is the reality of Dukh, Sukh and Sikhi, you know? Really, our Sikhi is a very, very distorted version of what Guru is saying to us. It only hai, what we've made it into. It's something that is... I don't try to make it into mysteries, you know? Sikhi is not a mystery. Or mystery nahi hai. You have to just do vichar, listen to it. What's it really saying, you know? Here, look. So let's stop. So we probably said some heavy things, you know, so far. So look, every person carries baggage, sanchit, prarabdha, and kirya karam, which influences this. But Guru talks about that much more complete in a more defined way than those the Vedantic way. You know? This baggage shapes where we are born, who we meet, etc. Sanjog, who we lose, vijog. So in your life, you're going to lose sometimes you're going to lose things. I know people lost their money, you know. Even if you lose your money, some of that vijog, yeah. So a person's like, you're doing okay, then all of a sudden, you get a prison sentence or something. For about a few years, you lose your money. It's temporary, you know. So that's vijog, you know. And span of life is arja. Humans consistently pursue sukh, comfort, and try to avoid the dukh. Yet life unfolds according to hukum, not our preferences. Much suffering arises from attachment, expectation, and misunderstanding reality. Many people cling to pain because it gives identity, certainty, and validation. Sometimes you got more certainty in your pain. If someone says, you can live your life without that pain, you don't want to interpret what that means. You're more comfortable in the pain. You know? And validation as well. Some people get more validation if they say, main dukhi haan, you know, my life's really bad. Then someone might come up to them and say, oh, you know, the comforting bit. Sometimes that gets some validation, you know? But while true spiritual understanding requires ego surrender, responsibility, and a deep inner change, in reality, people often prefer familiar suffering and clear blame over the uncertainty and transformation required to live in enlightenment with truth. That's a big statement there, you know? That's a big statement, you know? Sometimes we prefer suffering and blame. One of the things that we prefer sometimes is we'd rather have a certain lie than an uncertain truth. And I thought that broke my brain, that did. I got syntax error, line 1. Sorry, broken. Sometimes we prefer a certain lie than uncertain truth. If the truth is a bit uncertain, I don't know how that is going to work out, I prefer just stay in the lie. I'll stay in the lie instead, you know? You know, people like still support Donald Trump. You know, that's messed up people, you know? Banda theek nahi hai, I'll tell you that much. It's being recorded, I might get taken to court or something. You know? Talk to you later. So are you ready for the truth? Are you ready for the truth? You know? Look what Guru says. Uddam mat prabh antar jami jyon prere tyon karna. Jo natua tant vajay tanti tyon vajh jant jana. Look what that's saying. Did you ever say that the uddam effort that you do and the knowledge that you got and the intelligence that you got, God restricted it or expanded it? Have you ever thought like that? The WhyGuru ne ditta hai sara kuch. Have you ever thought that the environment that you're in, you're not actually doing anything? WhyGuru's making you do it. See, this breaks our sochani, because It doesn't compute. Dunya, the way the dunya has trained us, it doesn't compute. But WhyGuru is too powerful, Anna. WhyGuru is too powerful. WhyGuru is controlling it. But we think we're doing it. So, you know, Guruji used your natua, tanta vajay tanti. You know what tanti saj is? Tanti saj. Stringed instrument, Anna. Natu apan performer hunda hai, je natak chetak karda hunda. Guru called that natua, Anna. He's a performer. Now, when you play an instrument, does the instrument play by itself? A stringed instrument. If you just leave it, say, oh, go on, pull out a bit of rag, bilawal, will you? And just do something. Is he going to do it? It's not going to do it, Hana. Guru saying, is tarah, WhyGuru ek ji nu, Hana, andro Hana, bajana ya. WhyGuru playing instruments. Tono anand nahi aanda by hearing that. Sometimes a person can get confused and say, no, hui nahi sakda, Paji. Gurmat must be wrong on that call, Hana. Either Anand Anlapanda, but WhyGuru's doing it. WhyGuru's doing it. So what's WhyGuru now, Hana? So this was Guru Ramdas ji saying to us, look, Jap man Ram nam rasana. Kada apne jeevan WhyGuru da naam le, ਉਹ ਤੈਨੂੰ ਕੰਟਰੋਲ ਕਰ ਰਿਹਾ ਆ ਇਜ਼ ਡੂਇੰਗ ਇਟ ਹੈ ਨਾ ਮਸਤਕ ਲਿਖਤ ਲਿਖੇ ਗੁਰ ਪਾਇਆ ਹਰ ਹਿਰਦੇ ਹਰ ਬਸਨਾ ਜਿਹਦੇ ਮੱਥੇ ਤੇ ਲਿਖਿਆ ਆ ਲੋਕ ਅੱਜ ਲੋਕ ਇਸ ਪੰਜਾਬੀ ਹੈ ਇਹ ਮੇਰੇ ਮਨ ਜੀਵ ਨਾਲ ਪਰਮਾਤਮਾ ਦਾ ਨਾਮ ਜਪਿਆ ਕਰ ਜਿਸ ਮਨੁੱਖ ਦੇ ਮੱਥੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਲਿਖੇ ਹੋਏ ਚੰਗੇ ਭਾਗ ਉਗੜ ਪੈਣਾ ਇਹ ਠੋਕੜਾ ਭਾਗ ਜਿਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਮੱਥੇ ਦੇ ਉੱਤੇ ਹੈ ਨਾ ਚੰਗੇ ਭਾਗ ਹੋਣ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਬੈਗੇਜ ਆ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਡਾਇਮੰਡ ਵਾਲਾ ਆ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦਾ ਉਹ ਉਗੜ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਆ ਦੇ ਬਿਕਮ ਸਮਥਿੰਗ ਹੈ ਨਾ ਉਸ ਨੂੰ ਗੁਰੂ ਮਿਲ ਪੈਂਦਾ ਉਸ ਨੂੰ ਗੁਰੂ ਮਿਲ ਪੈਂਦਾ ਹੈ ਗੁਰੂ ਦੀ ਸਹਾਇਤਾ ਨਾਲ ਉਸ ਦੇ ਹਿਰਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਪ੍ਰਭੂ ਆ ਵਸਦਾ ਹੈ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਜਿਨ੍ਹਾਂ ਦੇ ਭਾਗ ਚੰਗੇ ਆ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਸਮਝ ਆ ਜਾਣੀ ਆ everybody else is going to say well I think I might be agnostic I'm not sure if there's a God or not my kids used to go to school and all the kids in their class were agnostic all sick they were trying to be sick and you got everyone's agnostic and to see the Sukhari environment you're going to eventually start saying maybe there ain't a God maybe there is but I'll just stay in the middle so I won't say one or the other but that's an easy positioning now stay agnostic who knows if science tells you then maybe I'll believe in God if I get evidence or something so based on what we know why are we still ignorant then what do we think we ain't gonna have loads of time you have to press the button why are we still ignorant we don't believe it, that's right, yeah. Circumstances might make you ignore it, that's right, yeah. What else? Some people don't believe. We don't want to let go of control. Good, nice one. What else?
Ignorance is bliss.
Ignorance is blissful. It's better to stay in a bit of ignorance, like we were saying before, than face the truth, isn't it? Anji, sorry.
When something bad happens and then you lose the faith.
When something bad happens, you focus on the badness, right? You focus on that emotion. That emotion takes over, right? Then nothing else really seems to make sense. That seems truer than true. But this is what the problem is, you know? Dunya vich. The honest truth is we have no dar. Dar. They need a WhyGuru to. You know what God, you know what Guru is for us? WhyGuru, you know what it is? It's a little genie in a bottle. Huh? And we say, you know, when I need something, I just go, hello genie, come out please. Rub the Aladdin's lamp, huh? And say, come on Guruji, I want a sun, I want this, I want that, thank you very much. Bye-bye, now put the genie away, you know. That's is Sikhi nahi hai. You know what Sikhi is? Sikhi is, tera naam japi jana hai main. Tera naam jap mainu de, na de. You know, there's a Shabbat, oh gosh, I'm getting old, I am. There's a Shabbat Guru says, Je sukh deta tujhe aradi, dukh bhi tujhe te aayi. Ek jit manu sukh denda, if you give me happiness, I'm going to jap your naam. Because if you give me dukh, pain, मैं तेरा ध्यान रखना है. I'm gonna keep remembering you. जे भुख दे तां इत्थे ही राजा. जे मैनू भुख दूंगा ना, I'm gonna be hungry and anything, because I'm gonna just think I'm full up. मैं रज्या आया ना. दुख विच सुख मनाई. That's what this course was about, ना. भी दुख दे विच मैं सुख मनाना आ. Now what Guru gave an example of there was a slave. It's a slave, है ना. कोई आन मिलावे मेरा प्रीतम प्यारा हो तो इस पे आप विच आई. मैं अपने आप नू विचार बेच देता अपने आप नू. I've sold myself like a slave to that person जिन्हें मैनू वाहिगुरु नाल मेरा मिलाप करता. He's made me see and made me meet वाहिगुरु. दर्शन हर देखण के ताई. मैनू दर्शन विच I want to see दर्शन. दर्शन मैं करने है ना. किरपा करे ता सतगुर मेले हर हर नाम ते आई. Guru is the intermediary, है ना. जे कोई किरपा कर देवे, you get blessing, that Guru मिल जाता है सानू. Then Guru does that. Then he makes us a slave, है ना. Slave ਉਹ ਫਿਰ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਜੇ ਦੁੱਖ ਮਿਲਦਾ ਆ, it doesn't matter. ਜੇ ਸੁੱਖ ਮਿਲਦਾ doesn't matter. ਜੇ ਭੁੱਖ ਮਿਲਦਾ doesn't matter. ਉਹ slave ਬਣ ਜਾਂਦਾ. ਤਨ ਮਨ ਕਾਟ ਸਭ ਅਰਪੀ. You know, cut my body up into pieces. ਵਿੱਚ ਅਗਣੀ ਆਪ ਜਲਾਈ. ਜੇ ਅੱਗ ਲਾ ਦੇਵੇ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ, ਜਿਸ ਮੈਂ ਛਾਲ ਮਾਰਦੇ ਇਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਜਿਹੜਾ ਸੇਵਕ ਹੈ ਉਹ ਕਹਿੰਦਾ ਹਾਂਜੀ, ਉਹ ਛਾਲ ਮਾਰ ਦਿੰਦਾ ਵਿੱਚ. That's a Sikh. ਇਹ ਸਿੱਖ ਆ. ਉਹ ਹੁਕਮ ਨੂੰ ਨਾ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰਦੇ. You know, when the hukams come for them, they don't say no to it, ਹੈ ਨਾ. Look at that, how he made it like a slave. Who wants to be a slave? Say, forget that, man. I don't want to be a slave. Slave ਕਾਲੇ ਬਣਨਾ. I want to be a raja. I want to be a gangster, ਹੈ ਨਾ. I don't be slave. But ਸ਼ਬਦ ਨੇ slave ਬਣਾਤਾ ਸਾਨੂੰ. But Guru Ji's given us that thing where he's saying मैं ਹੁਣ ਸਾਰਾ ਕੁਛ ਤਨ ਮਨ ਕਾਟ ਸਭ ਅਰਪੀ ਵਿੱਚ ਅਗਨੀ ਆਪ ਜਲਾਏ. ਪੱਖਾ ਫੇਰੀ ਪਾਣੀ ਢੋਵਾਂ ਜੋ ਦੇਵੇ ਸੋ ਖਾਏ. ਮੈਂ ਸੇਵਾ ਕਰੀ ਜਾਣੀ ਆ like a slave. slave ਨਾ ਉਹ ਪੱਖਾ ਫੇਰਦਾ ਆ ਆਪਣੇ ਮਾਸਟਰ ਨੂੰ ਤੇ ਪਾਣੀ ਜਾ ਕੇ ਲਿਆਂਦਾ ਆ. when you know we get our little taps, ਹੈ ਨਾ. There weren't no taps in India then, ਹੈ ਨਾ. You have to go to the well and go and fetch the water. Someone has to go and do it, है ना. He says, I'll be that slave, Guru says. ਨਾਨਕ ਗਰੀਬ ਢਹਿ ਪਿਆ ਦੁਆਰ ਹੈ. ਮੈਂ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਦੇ ਦੁਆਰ 'ਤੇ ਆ ਕੇ ਢਹਿ ਪਿਆ ਆ. ਹਰ ਮੇਲ ਲਿਓ ਵਡਿਆਈ. ਫਿਰ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਵਡਿਆਈ ਇੱਦਾਂ ਦੀ ਦੇ ਫਿਰ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਮਿਲ ਜਾਵੇ ਮੈਨੂੰ. This is our Sikhi. ਇਹ ਸਾਡੀ ਸਿੱਖੀ ਆ. The truth is ਅਸੀਂ ਡਰਦੇ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈਗੇ, ਹੈ ਨਾ. We're just saying we're going to live. Look, there's a shabd, we can't go over it. It's too much. ਭੈ ਵਿੱਚ ਪਵਨ ਵਹਿ ਸਤਿਵਾਉ. ਭੈ ਵਿੱਚ ਚੱਲੈ ਲੱਖ ਤਰੀਆ. ਭੈ ਵਿੱਚ ਅਗਨ ਕੱਢੇ ਵਿਗਾਰ. ਭੈ ਵਿੱਚ ਧਰਤੀ ਦੱਬੀ ਭਾਰ. Look, everything, the wind, the tarti, everything, it's all running in fear of WhyGuru is. That's what Gurbani is telling us. All the universe, है ना, जिदा ठहन करता है, everything. What's not scared? What's the thing that's not scared on this planet? What's the thing that's not scared? So the hava is scared, the wind is scared, the ag is scared. ਉਹ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਦੇ ਭਾਣੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਚੱਲਦਾ ਸਾਰਾ ਕੁਛ. What isn't scared here? ਹਾਂਜੀ. Human being. Human being ਨਹੀਂ ਡਰਦਾ. Human being is teat. Human being says ਰੱਬ. Maybe there isn't a ਰੱਬ. Everything else works by the exact ਚੀਜ਼ ਜਿਹੜਾ rotation ਹੁੰਦਾ ਸਾਰਾ ਕੁਛ. It all stays nice and in a ਹੁਕਮ, ਹੈ ਨਾ. But human being ਹੈਗਾ teat ਬੰਦਾ. Here, this was the world fears, huh? It's Chapman University, they do this every year. This is what people fear. They did these surveys, huh? Maybe you can relate to some of these things. The number one thing people fear, although it came true actually in 2026, corrupt governments and officials. Pollution of oceans, pollution of drinking water, people I love dying, air pollution, high medical bills, cyber terrorism, Islamic extremists, number 13, well, they did really well there, no? And white supremacists. I think they should be a bit higher now, no? And look, hit by drunk driver. There's 100 of these. What's the problem here? What problem do you see with this list?
No.
Terrorism. Anji? What's the problem? Rabba to koi nahi darda, look. Look at this, devastation, blah, blah, break-ins into your house, hurricanes, devastating floods, sharks, mugging, racial hate crime. Hale Rab nahi aaya hale. Rab nahi aaya hale. We're on 64. They're scared of hell. They're not scared of the WhyGuru who made the hell. Where's WhyGuru kithe hai? 79. 79 te WhyGuru's ratings are quite low, है ना? Human being ਦੇ life ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ WhyGuru's ਡਰ ਬਹੁਤ low ਆ. If you start with that baseline of that low, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਮੈਨੂੰ ਦੱਸੋ ਤੁਸੀਂ life ਚੋਂ ਕੀ ਲੈਣਾ ਆ? ਰੱਬ ਤੋਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਡਰਦੇ ਸੀ. I'm scared a burglar might come into my house tomorrow night and rob it. ਹੈ ਨਾ? We're scared more of that. Not the fact that ਉਹ ਭਾਣੇ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਮਹਾਰਾਜ ਨੇ ਲੈ ਲੈਣੀ ਮੇਰੀ ਚੀਜ਼, ਸ਼ਾਇਦ ਮੈਂ ਗਲਤ ਨਾ ਲਈ ਹੋਊਗੀ and the robber's going to come and take it. Burglar, sorry. A robber and a burglar are different. I learned that, sorry. A robber robs you, burglar comes to your house. You know? But anyway, this is what the world fears. So what do you fear? Really, what do you fear? What do you fear? Does you honestly, before, I mean, and we can stand in the Gurdwara and say, yes, I fear God. But what do you really fear?
It's the unknown, isn't it?
You fear the unknown, yeah. It's the unknown. The unknown's scary. Unknown scarier. You know, I couldn't do it in this lecture, you know, but I did a thing about, you know, I went to another country and we got the blink camera on the house and I played the blink camera. It had a notification and it's like my my family wife was putting rubbish out and stuff, and I looked at it and I said, "Ik ona." I didn't recognize them. I said, "Who's this family?" You know, everybody's doing that, putting their rubbish out, recycling, recycling and all that. And I looked at it, said, WhyGuru ne ki banata the? Kithe aa gaye hain? It's like there's a point where you can't. I don't think I've ever been the same. I don't think I've fully connected back with them. I know, but it's weird. But then when I went through it, you know, they did that telescope thing. I took a whole half an hour on this when they did it in Coventry. I'm doing it in 2 minutes. So they did the telescope and chucked it out and they found all those stars, and Brian Cox goes on about all these universes. Each one's a little galaxy. You know, we got a Milky Way is our galaxy. Do you know how many galaxies they found? How many did they find in there? You know, you used to have Hubble and then the new one, I can't remember what the telescope's called. How many did they find, do you think? Galaxies. So our galaxy is our planet, and then the other 9 or whatever, 11 or whatever it is. And how many did they find, do you think? They found 2 trillion. 2 trillion. 2 trillion at the galaxy like ours, right? And that's what they can see. That's naked eye stuff. What about beyond that? WhyGuru ne jo banaya hai na, it's a way outside of this. It's way outside. And ਅਸੀਂ ਇੱਥੇ ਬੈਠੇ ਆ and Guru ਖੋਦੇ ਖੂਹ ਦਾ ਡੱਡੂ ਹੈ ਨਾ, ਕੂਪ ਪਰਿਓ ਜੈਸੇ ਦਾਦਰਾ ਕਿਸ ਦੇਸ਼ ਵਿਦੇਸ਼ ਨਾ ਸੂਝ. It's like if a frog sits in the well and all it sees is this little round wall, it doesn't know that when I jump outside the well, there's a whole desh bidesh, there's like countries, all countries. That's how we're sitting. We're sitting inside a little well and we're just looking at our little wall saying, ew, maybe we should paint the magnolia different coloured. You know, change the wallpaper. That's what you're sitting in a well, you know. Kuch bhi nahi hega thoda banaya. It's nothing. It's nothing, you know. So what do we fear? We fear that, oh, I better not lose that house. I better not lose that family. I better not. But you're going to lose everything. We're going to lose everything. You're going to have nothing. So this is what Guruji says. Bhai, you know, I was supposed to be anti-vax, na? You know, when COVID happened, I said, tika nahi lwana. Tusi tika lwaye sige?
No.
Yeah, good. But I'm not saying that's right or wrong. Whatever your thing did, and that's your own mat, isn't it? But what I'm saying is, we got more fear. We got fear of COVID, but we have got fear of WhyGuru, है ना? And look, भाई मत कोई जानो किसी के किछ हाथ है, सब करे कराया. जरा मरा ताप सिरत साप सब हर के वस है, कोई लाग ना सके बिन हर का लाया. ऐसा हर नाम मन चित्त नित ध्यावो जन नानक जो अंति अवसर ले छड़ाया. Look at that शब्द. एक जेरे सुनो, let none think that they have any power. कोई भी कभी भी मेरे power मेरे विच आ या I'm controlling something. All everything acts जिदा रब करा रहा साडे तो. Old age, death, fever, poison, snakes, everything is the hands of WhyGuru. है ना? Nothing can touch anyone without the Lord's order, WhyGuru's order, that is. है ना? Within your conscious mind, Guruji says, oda dhyan tar. Sap nahi koi tanu maar sakda. It doesn't mean that we don't be silly and go and sit with snakes and say, well, they ain't going to kill me. There was a banda in England, he opened up albinos. He had albinos king cobras. Beautiful, beautiful snakes, by the way, albino king cobras. And he said, I feed them, I sit with them. He goes, I'll never ever beat me. He died by a snake bite. Sapade maar dita si onu, his own snake. But sap is like Maya, what Guru says, is like Maya hove nagni jagat rahe laptaye, inki seva jo kare, tis he nu fir khaye. When we do seva of Maya, eventually Maya eats us. You're feeding it, but it's going to eat you at the end. So all of these things, but under control of Guru. So this Shabad is reminding us that we actually control far less than we think. That the world fears the outcomes more than the Creator who's doing everything. We like to believe things are in our hands, but aging, illness, suffering, and even death are not something we control. We can't control, when even someone wants to do it themselves, sometimes the Guru doesn't let it happen. They all happen within the divine order. So instead of living in the illusion that we are in charge, Guru Nanak is telling us to keep the divine WhyGuru in our mind and heart, because in the end is that connection that carries us through. So these are deep things that we're talking about. I'm not expecting you to sit there and go, oh right, I've been enlightened now. You're going to probably have to sit and think about this stuff, because Guru Di Mata is not like worldly, it's not worldly knowledge, it's not the same. So sorry because of the things, but this is what we do. This is how our Sikhi works. First you go to the Guru. Guru ne thanu mat deni hai. That's called not Guru's mat. Unu Gurmat kande hai. We say Gurmat, but it's Gurmat really. Gurmat. Uthon a person which dar paida ho janda hai, starts getting scared. And that fear is not like I'm going to hide under the table. It's like respectful. And in Lama, it's in second Lama, Nirpau pa man hoye, home mail go ay wal Ram ji ho. Home finish ho janda jadon proper WhyGuru da dar aa janda hai. Then from fear we get Bairag. Bairag, what's Bairag? Bairagya. Hanji? Detachment from Maya, or it's kind of so much pyar that you miss WhyGuru, hai na? Ufoi Bairag, unu Bairagi kende hai Maharaj. That's a Bairagi. A Bairagi, someone when they start loving WhyGuru that much, or then they miss WhyGuru so much. That's Tiji Lam, or Tijri Lam, Man Chao Paya, Bairagiya, Balaram ji, na? Fi oto fi pyar paida hunda hai from that. Bairag is a form of love. This is how you got to do it. Guru di mat leni pehla, because we're messed up. Our knowledge is from wacko places, you know? That builds dar of WhyGuru, because we start understanding. Tu byant ko virla jane. WhyGuru ta byant hai, it's byant. You can't understand him, you know? And then fi barag aa janda, I want to meet WhyGuru, and fi pyar, you can get love. So sorry, I have to go fast. But fear is needed for truthful actions. So look what Guru is saying. ਭੈ ਬਿਨ ਲਾਗ ਨਾ ਲੱਗੇ ਨਾ ਮਨ ਨਿਰਮਲ ਹੋਏ ਜੇ ਡਰ ਵਿੱਚ ਨਹੀਂ ਅਸੀਂ ਸੇਵਾ ਕਰਦੇ ਆ ਨਾ ਤੈਨੂੰ ਫਿਰ ਲਾਗ ਨਹੀਂ ਲੱਗਦੀ ਕੱਪੜੇ ਨੂੰ ਰੰਗ ਨਹੀਂ ਲੱਗਦਾ you know when I first came one week my hands were all black I was trying to dye a kapda. I was trying to dye this kapda and the kapda I put it in the pani and it's black and I was trying to make it black. Thought I'd make it cool, make it black. And when I pulled the kapda out, it stayed the same color, but my hands went black. It stayed the same color, and the reason for it stayed the same color was because it's synthetic. And then I'm stupid. You can't dye synthetic. And Guru's saying the same thing about Hirda. When it's stuck with Maya, it's all Maya inside. Or synthetic jiha ban janda hai. When you try to do bhakti, you try to, or rang nahi lagda. It comes off. Or le janda hai. It doesn't stick. You don't want to stay there. And that's what Guru's saying. Dar chaida hai pehla, then synthetic fir nylon ban janda hai. Cotton. cotton can be dyed, है ना, and फिर निर्मल हो जाता मन, then it goes निर्मल, it goes pure, है ना, बिन भै कर्म कमावने झूठे ठाव ना कोई, डर तो बगैर we do these rituals, है ना, but Guru says कुछ नहीं मिलना, you don't get nothing for that, है ना, and look, fear and love, so fear makes love, you know that, है ना, fear makes love, जिदे डर नहीं है वो प्यार नहीं आ सकता. Does that make sense to anyone? Or you say, well, hang on a minute. Because most people, you know, they say you shouldn't fear God, you should love God. You say, you shouldn't fear God, you should love God. You know, when you love something, why do you think you love it? You fear of losing it, huh? You got fear. It's inherent. Fear is inherent in love, huh? But first, the fear has to start. Look, Gur ka pa pai jo rate sifti sach samao. Those ਜਿਹੜੇ ਡਰ ਵਿੱਚ ਵੀ ਆ ਅਨਪਿਆਰ ਵਿੱਚ ਵੀ ਆ ਗੁਰੂ ਦੇ ਡਰ ਤੇ ਪਿਆਰ ਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਨੂੰ ਸਿਫਤੀ ਮਿਲਦੀ ਹੈ. They praise WhyGuru properly. They do it properly, ਹੈ ਨਾ. ਹਰ ਗੁਣ ਹਿਰਦੇ ਟਿਕੈ ਤਿਸ ਕੈ ਜਿਸ ਅੰਤਰ ਭਾਉ ਭਾਵਨੀ ਹੋਈ. ਜਿਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਅੰਦਰ ਡਰ ਵੀ ਆ ਤੇ ਪਿਆਰ ਵੀ ਆ ਉਹਨਾਂ ਦੇ ਅੰਦਰ ਟਿਕ ਜਾਂਦਾ. Sorry, I have to go through it quick. But here, this is these are interesting. Remember, Gurmati Pau, Upajay Bhai, Pau Karni Sachar, Prem Padarth Bhai, Bhai, Sach Naam Adar. Guru di mad de naal dar paida hunda ya. That's what it's for first. When you're listening to Guru's Bani, the first thing is dar paida hunda inside. From that Gurmat, Pau Karni Sachar, fir sachi sar odi hundi ya. Then Guru says, fir Prem Padarth Bhai hai, Bhai, Sach Naam Adar. Fir naam milda, fir pyar da. And look, ਸਾਧ ਸੰਗਤ ਬਿਨਾ ਭਾਵ ਨਹੀਂ ਉਪਜੈ ਭਾਵ ਬਿਨ ਭਗਤ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੋਏ ਤੇਰੀ. So if you don't go into ਸਾਧ ਸੰਗਤ, ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਦਾ ਲਵ ਨਹੀਂ ਮਿਲਣਾ ਕਿਤੇੋਂ. ਸਾਧ ਸੰਗਤ ਤੋਂ ਮਿਲਦਾ ਉਹ. You have to, if you're asking where you're going to find it, first you have to have dar of that ਸੰਗਤ. You have to have dar to do their seva. You have to have dar of the Guru. ਫਿਰ ਜਦੋਂ ਡਰ ਪੈਦਾ ਹੁੰਦਾ ਨਾ, then love comes after that. And ਜਾਂ ਭਾਉ ਪਾਏ ਆਪਣਾ ਬੈਰਾਗ ਉਪਜੈ ਮਨ ਆਏ. So when persons first gets dar of WhyGuru, fe bairagi banda fe. You become bairagi after fear first, है ना. Bairage te har paiye har syon rahe samay, है ना. Bairag de which, when you that loving detachment, that bairag is like you miss God that much, you become detached from the dunya. Fe dunya changi nahi lagdi fe. The dunya changi nahi lagdi. Like I say, that doesn't mean you go home and tell your mom or dad, you could go see you later, I don't know who you are, है ना. That's not what it means. It means ਸਾਰਿਆਂ ਨਾਲ ਪਿਆਰ ਕਰਨਾ ਸੀ, but you're detached from them. So what you're saying is the hukum. If the hukum means I'm going to be, Maharaj is going to take that person, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਹੁਕਮ ਨਾਲ ਪਿਆਰ ਕਰਨਾ, not the fact that the person's gone. Does that make sense? I know ਮੈਂ ਉਦਾਂ ਹੀ ਬੋਲੀ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਹਾਂ, but does that make sense? ਅਸੀਂ ਭਾਣੇ ਦੇ ਨਾਲ ਪਿਆਰ ਕਰਨਾ, not the ਚੀਜ਼. You know, ਦਾਤ ਪਿਆਰੀ ਵਿਸਰਿਆ ਦਾ ਧਾਰ, Guru says. ਜਿਹੜੀ ਦਾਤ Maharaj ਨੇ ਦਿੱਤੀ, you start falling in love with that, but you forgot the creator who gave you it, है ना. ਉਹ ਭੁੱਲ ਗਿਆ Maharaj. We're nearly done. You know, there's this book, it's called Languages of Love, and 5 Languages of Love, Gary Chapman. What he did is sona for dunya people. Dunya people. So like, you know, when a person is saying that a person loves, you love in different ways and you receive it in different ways, you know. So someone likes words, someone says quality time, if you spend quality time together, someone is receiving gifts. That's a mengi wife, that is, so stay away from it. Acts of service, someone says, okay, when I wasn't there you did this, and that's, you know, that's loving from you, you know. Another person is physical touch, you might say that person needs a hug sometimes or whatever. So that's what he said was acts of love, you know. 5 languages. Gurmat naal cheez bandi nahi gal, hai na. And then I read about the 70-30 rule. Now, the people who aren't married yet, you guys, right? Look, you know, when you say you're going to find someone to get married to, you looking at 100%. Well, there's a 70-30 rule. I didn't realize there was something like that. It says time together and apart. So it says you should always think that in a relationship, 70% you'll be together. Just say 30% you're going to do your own thing, you know? Then you'll be happy. Instead of saying you're joint by the hip. You say everything has to be done together if it's not Kalesh. You know? Acceptance and compatibility. So sometimes only 70% of you compatible. You can't be compatible 100%. If a person does, you might as well marry yourself. You know? You know what I mean? You're going to be 70% compatible, kind of. 30 think you might have some differences. Koi offended then ho gaya. Shall I move the slide? Next slide. Effort and distribution. So sometimes someone does 70% of the calm, someone does 30. Then sometimes that flips. Then some of the other birds, someone will doing 70 and 30. So it's just a formula. It doesn't mean it's right, but it's just a different way to think about things. And appreciate 70% and accept the difference of the rest. So sometimes you say, okay, we're not the same. 70% I know is good. 30% we can just work around it. You know? So that's a 70-30 rule. It's interesting. Shall we do that with WhyGuru then, shall we? WhyGuru, 70% of what you do is alright, 30% nah man, I ain't listen to that. You know? ਇਹ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਨਾਲ ਹੀ ਗੱਲ ਬਣਦੀ ਹੈ ਇਦਾਂ ਦੀ ਹੈ ਨਾ ਉਹ ਗੁਰੂ ਸਾਹਿਬ ਇੱਕ ਨਹੀਂ ਆਸ਼ਕੀ ਦੂਜੇ ਲੱਗੇ ਜਾਏ ਇਹ ਆਸ਼ਕੀ ਕਿੱਦਾਂ ਦੀ ਆ ਜਿਹੜੀ ਦੂਜੇ ਨਾਲ ਵੀ ਲੱਗਾ ਆ ਤੂੰ because what's your love ਜੇ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਨਾਲ ਵੀ ਪਿਆਰ ਕਰਦਾ but you love something else as well ਇਹ ਲਵ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈ ਹੁਣ ਹੈ ਨਾ ਇੱਕ ਨਹੀਂ ਆਸ਼ਕੀ ਦੂਜੇ ਲੱਗੇ ਜਾਏ ਨਾਨਕ ਆਸ਼ਿਕ ਕਾਂਡੀਏ ਸਦ ਹੀ ਰਹੇ ਸਮਾਏ ਜਿਹੜੇ ਚੰਗੇ ਆਸ਼ਿਕ ਆ ਪ੍ਰੋਪਰ ਲਵਰ of ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਉਹ forever ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਨਾਲ ਹੀ ਹੁੰਦੇ ਆ ਉਹ ਇਦਾਂ ਨਹੀਂ ਕਰਦੇ ਹੁੰਦੇ a bit of part-time Sikhi, too bit part-time here, a little bit there, but I'm a Maya Tahri really, you know. Then they come, don't work with WhyGuru. So what do you love? You want to be honest, what do you love? What do you love really? Family. Sometimes we don't really love family, you know, as well. No, I'm saying honest. We do this exercise at the addiction camps. And they all say, everyone says, we love our family. And when we get to the end of it, they don't love nothing. They don't love nobody. They love the bottle. They love the drugs. They love the addiction, you know. And Maya is the same. You can love the addiction more than you love your family. You can love the world more than you love your family, you know. What does love look like? What does love look like? What is it? Because it's an overused word, isn't it? You know, everyone says, oh, I love you. I do. Shut your mouth. What does that mean? I love you. What does that mean? I love the way you serve me? What does it mean? That's what Guru's saying. Guru's saying you love it. You ain't love. You don't love nothing. You love yourself. And what you're saying is, as long as you love me for what I need from you, thank you very much. When that stops, see you later. Look, Maharaj Shavdya, then they look. Guru says, "E jag meet na dekhyo koi," because I didn't find any friend here. Sagal jagat apne sukh lagyo, dukh mein sang na hoi. So when I get dukh, pehla sare lagyo mere naal, hai na. When my pain comes, it's like, where's my friends gone? Friend kithe hai? They're not there, hai na. So they don't love you. What Guru is saying is, Dara, Meet, Poot, Sanbandi, Sagare Tan Chon Lage. They love something physical, something worldly that you're providing. Jab hi nirtan dekhyo narko sang shad sab bhag. When that thing goes, everybody ne nat jana from you. The thing that you're providing them. That thing might be knock on your door on a Saturday night. The day have you people have become sick, huh? You know, ਪਹਿਲਾਂ ਸ਼ਰਾਬਾਂ we used to sit in pub as well, you know, a long time ago. The day you stop doing that, है ना, फिर ਤੁਹਾਡੇ friend ਸਾਰੇ ਹਟ ਜਾਂਦੇ ਆ. They say ਇਹ ਮੇਰੇ ਕੰਮ ਨਹੀਂ ਹੈਗਾ, ਕੰਮ there's no use to me anymore. So they're not your friends. They're friends of the environment of drinking with you. That's not your friend, no. Your friends use you basically. If you got a true friend, other vakri gal ya, but you generally won't have. Friend true nahi hunde. What do you love? And I would say we might love the world a bit, but we got to change that. Remember, this is not a negativity talk. I don't want you to go away from it depressed and say we need some depression tablet, you know, for dealing with all of that stuff we just heard. It's just change. You know, this is what Guru says love is. Love is tolerance. You can watch addiction talk. I went in it a bit more detail then. Tolerance, dependency, devotion to one, self-sacrifice, longing. So it's like a lotus flower. It tolerates waves. The waves ਜਿਹੜੇ ਆਉਂਦੇ ਆ, it tolerates the pain. It says that wave's going to make me messed up, but it just stays in place. That's a part of love. So when we say we love our family, what did you tolerate about your family? When mummy says, room tidy kar, no way, I'll forget that, I ain't doing that. But tolerate ki kita hai, what did you tolerate? Well, how is it love? And you say dependency. Do you say you depend on the thing that you said you love? Do you depend on it? So if that ain't there, main mar jaunga. Machi says, main mar jaungi. That says, it doesn't matter what dukh you give me, the lotus flower, it doesn't matter what dukh you give me, I'm staying here. The machi says, I'm dependent on you, Pani. You take me away from the Pani, I'm going to die, I'm going to kill, I'm going to die. Mar jandiya. This chatrik, it wants a boon, then it wants a boon from the Akash in Gurmat. But the water's all everywhere, but it says, I don't want that. You devoted to that thing. You devoted to only that thing. To say, I don't want anything from anywhere else. I only want it from that person. I only want it from that thing. And are you? How much would you sacrifice for yourself? A longing. This is a chakkavi kande. When the sun goes down, it goes depressed and it won't sleep. It starts walking around saying, Suraj kithe? Suraj kithe? It's doing that. It gets depressed. And when the Suraj comes back, then it gets happy again. If you go to bed, it's like that. It's got longing. These are elements of love. And the elements aren't there. So when we say we love Guru, we love WhyGuru. What? How much? How much? Mar jaunge? You say if the day WhyGuru ain't there, mar jaunge? If we say I tolerate pain, but as long as WhyGuru's there, are we happy with that? Someone comes up to you and says, this guy's next level, tu apna dharma chhad de, ede kol chale ja. Namadev, they're about to kill him, The Musliman were about to kill him. Ek Gurbani hai, this ain't story, this story nahi hai. Is Sultan puche, sunve nama, vekho Ram tumhare kama, shabd hai, tusi pad leo. The Sultan was about to kill him. They wanted to kill him. They said, you got option, they go Musliman ban ja tu. That's Bani, that's in Bani, He goes, either Bismil go deo jivaye, nahi ta gardan maar uthaye. So what he'd heard, the Sultan had heard, was Namdev brought someone back to life, That happened in Namdev's life, he brought someone back to life. And he goes, this is a dead cow, bring it back to life. And, long story short, read the Shabad, but really what happened is Namdev's mother said, look, you can't do that, but they said, do Allah, Allah kan lapa, and they said, you do Allah, Allah, do Allah, Allah, and they go, shad dena tenu, right? And you know what he said to his mother? He said, na ho tera pungra, na tu meri maa hai. Pind pare ta har gun gaye. He goes, I'm not your son, and you're not my mother. Go away. He goes, go away. Main Ram nahi chhadna. I'm not going Allah, Allah ina karke nahi kahan laga. That he didn't have a problem with the name Allah. He said, I'm not doing Allah the way they're making me say it. Because I ain't doing it. You mean maar do? So he had devotion to one, innit? He goes, aaj jara mainu Maharaj ne ditta hai, I don't care. Main mar jaunga aaj. But I ain't moving. That's love, That's love. But this is our history is full of that. It's full of this. But these are the aspects of love. So tolerance, dependency. But I can't go with this now. Like I say, time zyada ho gaya, you probably have to go. But here, this is what we do in dunya vich. When we tolerance, this is what it means spiritually, staying pure, calm, stable, remembrance of WhyGuru, etc. A tolerance hai sada. We said, doesn't matter, dunya vich jo hoi jave, what happens in the world, I don't care. I'm going to stay loving of WhyGuru, and I'm going to tolerate it. I'm going to love WhyGuru still. But this is what really happens. Instead of rising above the world, a person tolerates sin, ego, everything. So we do paap to ourselves, we tolerate it. It's all right. Theek hai, Gondi bhi karda hi ya. Neighbors are doing it, cousins are doing it, families doing it. And in modern day example, staying silent about injustice, all that, that's tolerance, that's wrong, galta tolerance. But here, dependency, soul knows it cannot live without naam, That's dependency, like machi. Says, naam, there's so many shabds Gurbani which says, je naam visar gaya na, main mar jaunga. Bin na ve mar jaiye mere thakur, jo amali amal lubana. ਜਿਹੜਾ ਅਮਲੀ ਹੈ ਨਾ ਮਰ ਜਾਂਦਾ ਹੈ. So there's loads of these amalis that die, you know, the ones who drink and think they die because they don't have the sharab or they don't have the. He says, I want a naam like that. That's dependency. But we dependent on these things: people, wealth, validation. Koi mainu keh de balle balle le obe badiya. That's what we want. And addiction to phones, social media. Look what we're dependent on. We decided dependent on these things. Devotion as well. Focused, we're supposed to be love, and now WhyGuru there. But this is what we're devoted to: career, body image, relationships, fame, ideology, fake spirituality, sara bakwas. Workaholics, we become gym and body obsession, idolizing celebrities, etc. Sacrifice. WhyGuru le sacrifice karna sega sara kuch. Ego. We're supposed to sacrifice our ego, our comfort sometimes, our time, our desires, our need. Raat nu supposed to be waking up. You know, when you open the curtains, it's supposed to be dark outside. It's supposed to be dark outside when you wake up. Or second gande hunde ya. Now when you open the curtain, you say, yeah, everybody's walking about going to work. No, that's no good. All that sacrifice kada hoya. And we're sacrificing for rewards and family honor and all this. So parents sacrificing ethics for lifestyles. Nyane nu kitna raise kita ya. We raised our kids, didn't even take them to Gurdwara. We raised our kids, didn't even teach them any Sikhi. We raised our kids, didn't tell them, these are your pardade, dade pardade, this is your lineage. We told them all the other stuff. Hanji, kaam kar tu na paise bana, bahut badhiya. That's what bakwas, sacrifice everything for that. And longing, you're supposed to have a yearning for WhyGuru, we become restlessness and worldly experiences. Holiday idea, can we go to America this year, please? It's all that we're longing for. We're not longing for WhyGuru, constant need for entertainment, etc. You'll see that on the video because it's cut off here. It's got cut off at the bottom. So this is it. So what do you fear? What do you love? Have those things brought you happiness or pain? What did you take? From up to today, the things that you loved and the things that you darde ya, what did it give you? What did it give you? What has it given you? And then we've gone out with our mates and that thing, baggage ban gaya, and then things play out, dodgy stuff starts happening in her life, and then we say, you know what? Why me? Why me? Because you're a samosa, that's why. That's why you, that's what Guru is saying. And so very quickly, I asked ChatGPT, what is your AI view on these shabads? So the shabads I showed you today, I asked it to say, your AI engine, you're not a Sikh, I don't want a spiritual answer, I want you to tell me what you're saying. So it says, if I look at these shabads analytically rather than devotionally, they contain several deep observations about human psychology and reality. So humans overestimate their control. The shabad about kisi ke kish haath hai is pointing out that humans believe they control life, but aging, illness and death shows the limits of that belief. From an analytical perspective, it is teaching humility about control. So, cause and consequence shape of life. The lines about not blaming others and receiving the result of one's own actions highlight a principle that aligns with observable reality. Actions accumulate consequences over time. That's natural. Even if we do it in the dunya. Even if you say, I don't believe in karma philosophy, actions, so we had a war in Iran, there's going to be problems after that war, right? So it discourages victim mentality and encourages personal responsibility. Number 3, humans chase pleasure but cannot avoid pain. The shabad about people striving for happiness but never trying to earn pain is a very accurate observation of human behavior. People try to engineer life to avoid suffering, yet suffering still arises. The teaching pushes the mind towards acceptance rather than control. Then the 4th one, it says the seed metaphor. It says Kabir's metaphor about planting a seed that bears fruit all year is psychologically insightful. It suggests in investing energy in something internally sustainable rather than external achievements that produce temporary satisfaction. So, edi gal man lo ji meri nahi manni hai. But it carried on anyway. A shift from external control to internal cultivation. Across these shabads, the pattern is clear. Humans chase outcomes, humans blame others, humans fear suffering, and humans believe they are in control. The teaching repeatedly redirect attention to acceptance of reality, responsibility for one's actions, cultivating inner stability. So whenever you see that word, you know it's ChatGPT, because all you use cultivating everywhere. No? But my neutral analytical observation, these showers are less about theology and more about correcting common human psychological errors. Illusion of control, blame of others, attachment to pleasure, neglect of inner development. In modern language, they are essentially instructions for psychological maturity. Thank you, ChatGPT. So many human beings are constantly chasing happiness and trying to avoid pain. Even though a person tries in many ways to secure happiness and never seeks suffering, pain still arises according to the hukum. The final outcome unfolds according to the divine will and not human effort alone. We have brought a lot of pain with us, but we cannot focus on that. You know? We can't focus on our pain all the time. We can't focus on our pain all the time. You know? So think about the pain we have created by siding with our temporary identity, our fears, and our love for our own version of the truth. You know? When we try and understand how WhyGuru operates in our life, our ego starts to fade away. The first stage of this is for fear to come through. This will start redirecting our home, and we then start trying to see and feel WhyGuru in our lives. As we start to understand how WhyGuru is in everything, we develop a deep desire to meet WhyGuru. This then turns into an undying love, and this is a stage where ego subsides and it's possible to meet WhyGuru through Guruji's Kirpa. That was a ChatGPT summary, by the way. So, WhyGuru. So, Maharaj Kirpa Karan ਸਾਡੇ ਤੇ Guru ਦੀ ਬਾਣੀ ਅਗਾਧ ਬੋਧ ਆ. It's beyond my ਸੋਚਣੀ. ਤੇ even in the explanation ਮੈਂ ਕਈ ਗਲਤੀਆਂ ਵੀ ਕਰ ਲਈਆਂ ਹੋ ਗਈਆਂ. So, Maharaj Kirpa Karan, he gives us enough mat. But ਇਹ ਥੋੜਾ ਵੀ a little bit Guru's knowledge ਸਾਡੇ ਹਿਰਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਵਸ ਜਾਵੇ, even a little bit, ਹੈ ਨਾ. ਕਿਨਕਾ ਏਕ ਜਿਸ ਜੀ ਬਸਾਵੇ ਤਾਂ ਕਿ ਮਹਿਮਾ ਗਣੀ ਨਾ ਆਵੇ. When we read Sukhmani Sahib, but ਥੋੜਾ ਵੀ ਬਸ ਜਾਵੇ, even a little bit inside of us, ਹੈ ਨਾ. So you know the world, ਇਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ ਬਹੁਤਾ, if we're learning something, ਇਹਦੇ ਵਿੱਚ too much ਨਾ ਕਰੀਏ, ਹੈ ਨਾ. And finally, next week, what I'm going to cover is Simran and Naam and how it relates to our karmas. The beautiful thing how Guru's described it. So next week will be the final of the 4 weeks. So we'll finish off with a short bit of Simran. Please, ਤੁਸੀਂ ਸਾਰੇ ਆਪਣੇ ਚਿੱਤ ਬੁੱਧੀ ਤੇ ਮਤ ਤੇ ਮਨ ਨੂੰ ਇਕਾਗਰ ਕਰੋ ਸੀ. ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ 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 ਮੈਂ ਮੂਰਖ ਕੀ ਕੇਤਕ ਬਾਤ ਹੈ ਕੋਟ ਪਰਾਦੀ ਤਰਿਆ ਰੇ ਗੁਰੂ ਨਾਨਕ ਜਿਨ ਸੁਣਿਆ ਪੇਖਿਆ ਸੇ ਫਿਰ ਗਰਬਾਸ ਨਾ ਭਰਿਆ ਰੇ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕਾ ਖਾਲਸਾ ਵਾਹਿਗੁਰੂ ਜੀ ਕੀ ਫਤਿਹ।